Welcome back to Osborne Insider, and my name is Tim. What we're talking about today is rustic alder, and what you may hear is knotty alder or similar terms, but we just want to kind of touch base with you and let you know what our standards are, what we see a lot of coming through our shop, and give you some options here. So we go with some pretty character heavy stuff. This is a pretty typical leg, and I'm actually going to set this aside and come back to it in just a few minutes and talk more specifically about it. The boards, of course, vary quite a bit, okay? You're going to have some with just, smaller, tighter knots, and on the other side, you may have it getting bigger or smaller. And it might be something as small as this. It might be something as large as this, okay? Some things that we don't do, we don't use wane or live edge stuff on the actual turnings. Try and take that off. We will have some cracking, but if you can see that, it will not typically come off the edge of the turning, okay? Like if this was the end of our leg, it would not come off of that. It might come, like that far or something, and then kind of dwindle out. The only time you would have a little bit of this, I'm gonna grab a square that we actually have glued up, and if you can see that, there is a small crack coming off the end, and it comes right off the end there. One of the main things that we're concerned about is structural integrity, okay? So we're making sure that what you're getting is structurally sound. It's not gonna fall apart, it's not gonna be weak. But if, in that case, we would look at that, make sure that it's not going anywhere on the end. So, it's not going real deep. It's just a real surface crack. It's real small. We probably let that run off the end, okay? Gluing rustic alder up is kind of like artwork, really. There is no science to it, okay? Because every single board is different. Every single knot is different, and every turning that we do, typically when we get a job order, it has the picture of the leg that we're making on it. And so we typically don't stock a lot of these squares on our shelf, simply because we don't know what we're turning it into until we get that order. Once we get that order, then we can say, okay, we've got this size leg and it's this profile. And so we can kind of pick and choose where those knots go and don't go, okay, to create something that looks good, but is structurally sound. Okay, so this leg would be a great leg for a 2 square turning, okay? You've got a square up here, you've got a square here, and a turned portion in the center. That center, as you can see, is pretty knot free. It's going to turn really nicely, and yet you have your character, okay, on the ends there. Now, some other things that you will not get, okay? This would be a great sanded leg. If you turn this off, probably you're going to turn most of this right out, okay? That's a really nice looking knot. I like that. This would be a good sanded leg to where it's just a sand, 4 sides sanded, and then you preserve all of that character. But one thing that you will not get is, if you can see that glue, okay, from that glue up, after we're completely done with this, whatever it's going to be, a turning, a sanded leg or whatever, we'll go back and we'll take out any glue that is visible. That would not be, something that you have to worry about. And as you can see, on all of these knots, it's just open, okay? We do not putty anything. We don't fill anything with any kind of anything. This is nature's artwork, and we want to leave it. We want to kind of expose it the best that we can, and use it to add character to the product. And yeah, that's what we call rustic. I hope that gives you a little bit better feel of what our standards are, what we see a lot of, what we do a lot of. So thank you for joining us on Osborne Insider. Check out our other content and click subscribe and like and all of that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.